working with event binding techniques. How do we work and use events? So configure the events. All the detail about event handling and details about event arguments we learned. Today we will see how do we deal with some of the events, because actually all these are JavaScript events only. So if I give one few examples based on that, you must able to handle other types of interactions generally. So in that first, let me show you how we can manage key event binding. Key event binding. Generally key event binding. So you can configure events to handle interactions to handle interactions within application. You can configure events to handle interactions. You can configure events to handle interactions based on key user, based on keying of characters, based on keying of characters. So technically, you can configure events to handle interactions based on keying of characters. That means here important point is, so we want some actions to perform when user is using the keys, means pressing the key. The basic events for key binding are, the basic events for key binding are, we have the events, like technically we have the events. What are the events available? Let's check. So what is the event and how do we use the events? So three important events are there for key. We have key up. So it specifies, technically it specifies actions to perform. So it specifies action to perform. So when key is released over element. Key is released over element. So that is one key up. Another one is key down. We have key down. So it specifies actions to perform when user hold down a key. And we have key press specifies actions to perform when user finish a key and uses another. When user finish a key and uses another. This is important. Generally, I will show you that point actually. Key press is nothing but, suppose key up, that means when you release the key. Key down, when you hold down the key. And key press is nothing but, suppose I am typing like John. So currently you can see this is the word John typed there. If I ask how many keys pressed here, then actually the answer is only 3 keys pressed here. Only 3 keys pressed here, because cursor is still inside N. If cursor is still inside N, that means that key is not completed. That means only 3 keys pressed now. If I use a space or I type another character, then now 4 keys are pressed. That is what actually key press. Key press indicates that you finish the key and use another. That is what actually key press is. So these are general basic key events. Usually you see with JavaScript and any client-side environment. Technically, key events are regularly used with a set of properties. And what are the properties for the key events? Key events are regularly used with some set of properties. Technically, what are the properties for the key events? Let's see. Actually, the properties for key events, what the properties are there for the key events? They are for others also, but key events regularly use them. These properties are not just only for keys, others also, but keys will use regularly. Actually, the properties that are used by key events regularly, we have the properties like key code. So key code, capitalization matters. Yeah, key code. The concept of key code is actually key code. Yeah, key code is it returns the actual key code. Returns the actual key code. It returns the actual key code. So it returns the actual key code. So every key have a ASCII code. It returns the actual key code. So that means suppose A, that means example is that is A, uppercase A is equal to 65. It is an ASCII value. And Z is equal to 90, 65 to 90. That is the actual key code. That is actually the key code. All right. So ASCII values, ASCII codes will be written. We have char code also, char code. Actually, it returns the character code as per UTF standards. And very important is key code. It is for every key on keyboard, but the char code is only for the characters that print some character, that means it is only for keys that print some character. So it will not return the char code for everyone. It will not return the char code for everyone. That means like shift, tab, space, they don't print anything. Then how do we know whether shift pressed or not, control pressed or not, alt pressed or not, like that? So which cannot print the characters. You can use char code. Remember, char code is recognized. So only when the key is finished, it will not work on every situation. I will show that. We have which key also, which. So which actually it is similar to key code, but can support various keyboard layouts, because keyboards have several layouts. Suppose you see Mac keyboard has different layouts. Windows multimedia keyboard, they have different layouts. Due to that, what happens is we don't know which one user uses. In that case, we have to write for both key code and which key, because user may use a Mac keyboard or a Windows keyboard. It should work for both. Then Generally, developers compare both of them, key code and which key. And similarly, we have shift key, shift key. So shift key, this returns true. So returns true, true when shift is used. Shift is used. Similarly, we have alt key, capitalization matters for them. It returns true when alt is used. Similarly, we have a CTRL key. That means it returns true when control is used. These are the key properties actually. Now let's see one example. Generally, what is the situation? How we can use them, how we can work with them. General example we will see. So I am adding a new component here, ng generate component key binding. Okay, skip test. Okay, and fine. Let's keep this key binding in the startup. Yeah, so here we defined key binding in the startup. Okay, so key binding in the startup. Fine. Now let's run this. Okay, we don't have any content inside it. Let's first just test key binding working or not. Yeah, so it is working fine. Then we can add some logic into it. Yeah, so let's go and see here key demo. So key binding demo and key binding component dot ts. Fine. In the TypeScript here, let's add a code here. So some logic is defined here. Okay. Suppose we are having some users information, public users. This is some users information where we have username. So John is the username. So username, and here some John underscore John 12. Okay, so and another we have username and John underscore NIT. Okay, and just username. So and some div. So as of now, we are just having the data. Usually this will come from backend databases through server-side technologies, through APIs, right? Now, initially, what we are doing is we are declaring a property, public username. Username is one property. Okay, fine. Now let's go to the HTML. And here we are designing a screen. Class is equal to class container fluid. Okay, container fluid, and here we put so heading register user, and here we have a div, and this is a class some form group. Okay, and here we are defining, so we are defining label as username, and we can register one user here. Input type is equal to text, and class is equal to form control. Here, the point is generally in the design, our intention is let's keep this. So in the CSS, yeah. So we have a dot container fluid. So that is the class, and margin as auto, and padding as some 20 pixel, and width as some 300 pixel, and align items to center, justify content also to center. Okay. So this is the basic design we have, right? Register user. So we have username. That is the text box. Now important is user can enter the username. Here comes important point is while user is typing the username, I need to verify is there any name taken already by that name, and immediately show an alert saying that username taken, try another. That's very common thing. Remember, user will not submit the form. Before he submits, for every character it should verify, because even one character changes, that username is available. That's what generally we do. Suppose here we say GoDaddy. So this is a domain and this is GoDaddy official website. And here I am searching for domain. So I'm searching for domain. I'm searching here some Naresh IT. I click search here, and when I click search, then it will search for the domain and it says that it is taken. So generally, when you want the user IDs to happen, because here there is only one option, there will be so many fields. If there are so many fields, then without filling all the fields, if I submit, then it should show us some errors. It says that other fields are empty. Then how I can manage with only this one? That means it should say while typing itself, suppose Naresh I Technologies. When I'm typing itself, I need to verify and show it is taken or not. So that situation regularly comes in forms. Why? Because here that situation is not there, because only one thing is there, search. Only one option is there, right? One option is there. This is very complex when you are having multiple forms. So that means multiple options. So a form contains multiple fields and you want to verify the username taken or not before submitting all the fields. Then we have to verify while typing itself. While typing itself, we need to verify. So for every character, we need to verify. So then how do we manage that? Right? Yeah, Git repository, anything, even Google registration forms, everywhere the same now. Right? When you are using a Gmail registration form, you are filling the user ID. You are creating an account in Amazon. You are creating an account somewhere. If it is already taken, immediately it shows that. It shows that already taken, right? While typing itself, it should alert. That means first, I need to collect what they are typing inside that text box. Then what we do is here, we will collect that by using this username. Then we will use a model, ng model, and username. So whatever the username they entered, it will be stored inside this reference. This is the name coming from text box. I need to verify whether this name is present inside this collection. I need to verify whether the name present inside that collection. And based on that, I need to display a message. I need to display a message. Based on that, we need to display the message. So then how we can manage that? How we can configure and manage that? That means we need to put one message. So we will create a message, user MSG, user message. So when it should come, when we have to display the message. So when user is typing, that means we will write one method, that means public. So verify user on key up. Just for your understanding sake, I am writing this lengthy name, right? So verify user on key up. That's how I am writing. Okay. Now this should be called when key up. Then here, when user releases the key, here we are using key up. and it should use on key up. It should use that verify user on key up. It will fire up that function. Now we need to collect the name entered inside that username field and verify is this username is matching with any username in users collection. Now I have to loop through every item inside this collection. I have to loop through every item inside this collection. So here I am writing a simple for where item of collection is this dot users. Yeah, for every item in this users, I have to check whether that means this item contains property called username. That means we have to say if item dot username is matching with is equal to this dot username. This dot username is the username entered in text box. If the item username is matching with the text box username, if it is matching, then what should happen? Here we need to display some message. So that means what I want here, if it is matching, then we should say that username is already taken. So then it should top. That means you should say that this dot user message is equal to, it should display a message as username taken, try another. This message should come. So username taken, try another. After displaying this message, it should stop. It should not verify until another key is pressed. Then we have to break. That means it should come out. After that, else what should happen? If not, then what should happen is this dot user message should be, so username available. This message should come. Username available. This message should come. So technically, after showing that username taken, then stop. Then until any another key is pressed. If they pressed any another key, then it should continue. Now this message we want to display in the UI. This message must be displayed in the UI. So where to display that message? So this user message should be displayed here just below the text box. Then here I will put a span. In the span, we want to display that user message. So user message, and I am displaying that user message. Now here you can see now, so that is fine. Here I am typing here, I am clicking and typing here, John, it says username available, J. We can write more conditions like minimum 4 characters. So maximum this, I'm not writing that, right? So because sometimes immediately people ask, sir, 1 character, it should not show now. It should not show, then you write logic for that. Everything you have to write. It will not work automatically. No? You have to write a logic for that. That means write another condition. Verify the length of that string is less than 4. Then you put another message saying that it is less than 4. For that simple validations also there we will see. Initially that is not the main point for us. So John, I am typing John, then it says take and try another because John is already there. Now I am typing John 1, it is available. John 1, 2 is taken. And I remove this. So John is taken and underscore. So and NIT, it is taken. NI is available. That means every character it should verify. So that is what actually on key up. Now observe the point here. If I write this not on key up, if I write this key press event, then see the problem so that you can understand the key press event. I clicked here, I typed J available. OHN. It is already there, but it is not showing message. Why it is not showing message? Because N is not completed. That is because we return key press event. Key press event means once he finished there. Finished means what? You not coming out from there. He need to finish the key. Finish the key means space. Now it will come. Right? That is wrong. We should not have like that. That means we should immediately verify that. Then we use key up. Key up. So generally these are all JavaScript events, general JavaScript events, same everywhere, same. Here we are using John, then it is verifying it immediately. For every character, it shows whether it is available or taken. For every character, it shows whether it is available or taken. That's what actually, so that how it works for this. Now important is, suppose if username is available, I should show in green color. If username is taken, then I should show in red color. Then how you can change the color of this message dynamically? So that means now you have to use the knowledge of your binding. So that means valid or invalid binding style. That means we have to use class binding technique for that. That means here the point is this color should be applied. This color should be applied to red. And the same should use the color green. That means you cannot put any color directly here. We cannot put any color here, right? What CSS valid? Ram Jeter. So here we are not using any validation properties. Understood? Your CSS valid invalid cannot understand whether this is valid or not because you are verifying through a method. You are not using any HTML validation here. Understood? That means if you think that through CSS valid invalid, if you apply, it will never work here. Why? Because there is no HTML validation here. CSS validations will work for HTML validation. HTML validation means required pattern, min length, max length, like that. This is nowhere HTML validation. This is using a function to verify your values. In that case, it cannot work for your validations. Understood? CSS input valid, these all will not work because there is no HTML validation here, right? So we have to use in the CSS, right here we have to define in the CSS, yeah. So, yeah. See, it should transform into text success again, nah? Then how you do? It should transform into text success again, nah? That means you should turn on and off the colors. Understood? You should switch between two colors. One is success color, another one invalid color. You need to switch between the colors. Understood? In order to switch between the colors dynamically, that means not one color, you have to switch between the colors. And the condition for switching the colors is this if condition. Nah? This if condition is for switching the color. That means what we will do now here. So we will put here valid effect. Valid effect. Okay. So valid effect. So or simply we say is valid. Is user valid. Is user valid. So that is one option. And is user invalid. Invalid. This is one option. Both are by default set to false. Is user valid false and is user invalid also false. Both are set to false. So if username is already taken, that means it is invalid. That means this dot user invalid should be true. And user invalid should be true. And this dot user valid should be false, that is the condition. Okay, if username is available, that means so user invalid is false, and user valid is true, invalid is false and valid is true. That means the Boolean values are defined here. Now see what we are doing here. For this, we want to apply a CSS class dynamically. Then what we do is we can use for the span color we have to apply. We are using an ng class. We are using an ng class. Dynamically, we are configuring an ng class, right? Right. Of course. Why? Because one is to store invalid, because out of these two, we have to switch the condition. Am I right? We have to switch. You need to switch valid to true, invalid. Two effects are there. Then two effects you have to manage through two variables. Am I right? Yeah. Two effects are there. One effect is valid effect. So here, how to turn on and off the effects? We have an object reference. What is the class name? Class name I given as text success. That is the class name. Text success is a CSS class name, Bootstrap class name actually. Text success class should be applied when is username is valid. That means it gets the value from valid. If valid, then valid is true, then text success will apply. We need to add one more, comma, another effect. That is text danger. Text danger is another Bootstrap class. This depends on user invalid. If it is invalid true, then this will apply. That means if valid true. So these are Bootstrap classes. We don't need to write any effect. You can write any effect if you want. But directly only text color we want to change, we can apply here. That means now see here, what happening is I am typing. So here it says green color and John, then it says red color. It will transform the colors. And John 1, it is green color now. Username is available. John 1, 2, it is displaying this. So it is simply configuring the colors and defining the colors. So you have to switch between the colors. We need to configure and switch between the colors dynamically. So when it is working. Custom colors, what do you want to see custom colors, Kumar? What do you want to see custom colors? Already we learned now. What do you think? What you have to do to create custom colors? What is text success? What is the text success? Text success is instead of that, put your own class. What is that? What is there in that special? Why you use ng style? Already we learned class binding object based reference now. That means if you want your own, you write your own class. That means how you write your own class. You can write your own class for valid one effects or invalid one effect. Use that class name there. Right here, I'm using a predefined class. I can use the ready-made. So that means I can write our own class. We can define our own class. We can write our own class not only for span. Suppose I want this text box to change the colors when it is valid or invalid. Of course, you can write there also. That means what you do have, we have error style. So we have a class called error style. Error style. We have a class called error style. In the error style, we are having border, 1 pixel, solid, and red color. And box shadow, we define 2 pixel, 3 pixel, 4 pixel, and red color. This is error style. And we have another option that is valid style. So that means we have another as valid style. These are our own. We can apply our own. This is green, right? And this is also green. Then how we can apply them? So we want to apply these to the text box. And that means text box will use an ng class now. And this time our classes are defined here. What is our class? Error style. When this error style class should be applied, when it is invalid. And we have another option. What is that? That is valid style. When valid style should be displayed. When valid style should be displayed. So it should be displayed when is user valid. It depends on that value. That means we are creating our own effects, styles, and we are applying. That's it. Already saw, right? We already learned about that. That will not generally, right? So if you type anything here, that means now it should be green color. I entered something now, then it should be red color. You can apply anywhere. And it is taken, it is available, right? That is generally how we can configure the effects. So here, already styles related, anything you must able to handle. You have to think, because we learned everything. How style can be applied, we learned everything. Only the point is, when in interview anybody asked you any particular context, you have to think where that context fits into our concept. Understood? Because we learned all the ways of understanding how to apply the styles. Only the point is you need to think in all directions, right? In all ways you need to understand that. So that means it's not like everything what we learned in the same way they will ask you, right? They have different requirements. But everything can be handled with the what concept we have learned, right? You must able to keep our concept in mind, and you have to achieve their requirements. So there will be nothing more than asked what we have learned, right? You should able to put this in a correct point. So that is what important is. So that is where people think that I haven't learned this topic, right? You learned everything, but only the point you are unable to identify that situation and make that fit into that situation, right? So you learned that every point, but you need to understand correctly where to fit it. This is very important while dealing with events. That means how do we manage? This is just, I showed you one option for this, how we configure the key events. Okay. Now, one more important point is here. Suppose here, I want some more interaction. That means this is only just key up, means how we are configuring and how we are defining on key up, right? We are managing that. Suppose you want to verify even the number of characters they are typing, then obviously you have to write the condition. You need to define the condition and configure the condition. So based on that, we need to define. Suppose, for example, see, I don't want to allow. So here user is typing. If user is typing here, and user is typing J, so it should say that minimum 4 characters required. So that means it should verify only when it is starting with the 4 characters. So then for that also we have to write condition. For that also we have to define validation, right? That means, for example, so generally here is a lot of requirements will come, lot of questions will come. For every question your program is answered. Only the point is logically you have to think how to write it, right? Now what should happen is this verification of user ID and showing the message. This looping should work only when username is matching with. That means if this dot username dot length means it is string length is less than 3, so less than 3, and here this dot user msg, in that user message I need to display, so username minimum, so 3 characters required, that's the message we want to show. Username minimum 3 characters required, or you can say that it is too short, so just simply too short, that means username too short, this message should come, this message should be displayed. That means we are configuring that message and displaying. So here what is the warning showing? This is warning related to spaces and all. I don't know why you are concerned about them. Anything serious thing about it, Mr. Kundan? Those are about not using proper spaces, proper enter, because as per TS-lint, we learned TS-lint, na? As per the TS-lint rules, it needs some space between the keywords and space between operators. That's the reason it shows warning. Forget that, right? So here the point is, now if username is length less than 3 characters, then it should display that message, Not only displaying that message, we need to flip the color also. That means this dot is user invalid. User invalid is true, okay. And this dot is user valid. User valid is false. So else, if it is greater than or equal to 3, then the checking of the condition should happen. All this for loop I written there. For loop I have written there. So that's how we have to handle the condition. That means it should not enter into this until or unless this is satisfied. So generally that is the condition. Okay. Now you see here, and I am typing some name here, username here, and I am typing some username. It says username too short, and I am entering some John. Now it is available, and John is taken. Then both conditions are working fine. I remove that, so it is available, it is taken, it is available, and less than 2, then it says too short, minimum 3. So this is based on the requirement. People keep on asking a lot of queries. Sir, if it is capital letter, what should I do? You should write logic for that. You have patterns, regular expressions. You have to write, right? That means you should be very strong in logics and all the JavaScript patterns to handle these type of validations. Right? For every concept, you need a logic implementation to handle, whether it is capital or not, whether it is lowercase. All these needs a logic to verify. By using patterns, you can verify. Some you cannot verify through patterns. How to verify through patterns? That also I will show you one example generally. So this is general, right? Verifying through the patterns and others, we will see that. Initially, so this is the configuration for username we have given. Right? Now, similarly, suppose we have another element configured here. So that means this is all the key event related binding options we are discussing. Okay. Form group. Here we are having a label. So password. And here the password, we are configuring the password. So just a div and input type is equal to password. And class is form control, yeah. And that is the password. And important for password field, also we have invalidation. So validation patterns and all we can write, but here I want a simple point like if password field if password field is entered with any uppercase letter, immediately I want to show a warning saying that so caps is on. That means capital letters are typed, because when I am typing the password, I need to check whether the caps is on or not. That means I need to warn them, because passwords are case sensitive. If he types capital letters, immediately it should warn him. Then how do I know a capital letter is entered or not? Because capital letter can be entered in several ways. He can use an shift key, he can use an alt key, he can use an caps lock. Our intention is to identify capital letter, not caps lock key. You can verify caps lock key also by accessing its key code. But capital letter may be typed through caps lock, through alt key, or through even shift key. I think you don't know alt key. Alt key also can allow. Alt key have ASCII codes. Through ASCII codes, alt key allows some special characters. Uppercase letters and all can come actually. So here, what we are doing is, now suppose here we want to display a warning message if capital is typed. Then below this, I will keep a div. Okay. This div will contain a span. So span will have a class. So span will have a class. I will give the class as FA, and FA exclamation. Exclamation, circle, triangle, anything you can use. So exclamation triangle, okay. And here I will use a class text warning. That is the color for that. And beside that, so we will just put another span. So span. And here, so I will display a message, warning, and caps on. I will display that. Caps is on. So that display that option, or we say that caps not allowed, something, whatever you want the message, that caps is on. That is the point we need to display. And we need to display in a class, we will put this as some text danger. And you can see that the font awesome will put some color into that here. That means we have a warning, caps is on. We have a warning, caps is on. So this also have caps warning. So then the color will be this warning, caps is on. Now I need to hide that message. So when it is in normal, I need to display this message when capital is typed. Remember, so when you are typing the characters, so the character that you have typed is not verified. Its code is not verified until the key press happened. That means character code is not recognized on key up. That is problem. That means I cannot use key up because character code cannot be recognized. How you will know whether it is capital or not? Through character code. Character code is not accessed on key up. Character code is accessed only on key press. Then we have to use so key press. So I will write the condition here first. That means here we will write another method. So we will write another method here. So here we are writing another method. So public. So verify password. Verify password. Yes. Now verify password should able to understand the character they have typed. It should get the character code they have typed. It should get the character code they are typing. Then what we will do is to get the character code they are typing. So first we need to get that password and attach that password to that text box. That means we will put a property. Here we will put a property, public password. Okay. It should bind with that password box. then ng model, it is binding with that password box. So that means password. Okay. Now important, I need to verify. So verify password on key press. That means here we are using key press. On key press, we have to verify password. Verify password. And into that verify password, I need to pass the code of that particular character they are typing. We can access the character code through event properties. So how to access the event properties? By using $event. And this $event so passes that E reference into it. And here we need to verify if E.character code, that means when on key press, get the character code. If the character code is greater than or equal to 65 and E.character code is less than or equal to 90. If it is 65 to 90, what should happen? If it's 65 to 90, that means it is capital letter. So if character code, we are verifying the character code. But one problem is on key press, character codes are not recognized. You have to use key code. So we will use key code. By using key code, we are verifying. I will show you the difference of key and character in the next level. So another example. So here, key code verifies whether it is 65 to 90. If it is 65 to 90, then I have to show that warning message. Then I will declare another option is public. Show caps warning is false. So this caps warning is false is applied to this div where we are displaying the error message. That means here we will use ng if show caps warning we applied. That means by default it is not displayed. By default it is not displayed. It should display when it is capital letter. That means when it is capital letter, then simply this dot show caps warning should be true. Else it should be this dot show caps warning should be false. And you can define that. And here you can see I'm typing the password now. I'm typing the password here, verifying and typing the password here. So the password, so as of now it is normal, but suddenly a capital letter typed here, caps warning came. And you observe here, so I will open this and see, you see there is a capital letter here, right? And I remove that capital letter and starts typing now, it's okay. And any capital letter typed there, then automatically it shows the warning. So that means it is typing the capital letter, it shows the warning. I remove that means and start typing this, then it is done. It's okay, working fine. So this time we are verifying the character code. So whether the code is between 65 to 90, that means it is caps. So because A, uppercase A is 65 and Z is 90. So you can even verify, so whether Alt key used or not, Shift key used or not, Control key used or not. In yesterday example, I showed you Control plus click, it will open a window, right? Verifying that. Through event arguments, you can manage that. You can even handle through patterns. You can handle through the patterns, various options you can manage by using the patterns. How the patterns are used for validation. That means password is strong, password is weak, password is poor. We can verify the strength by using patterns also. How do we can verify through the patterns and display? So that we will see in next example, right? Now some more examples related to key event binding that we will discuss on Monday. Okay, right. This example I will post. So Monday we will discuss about the other key events and working with them.